Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Lewis in Baltimore, Maryland sent us an email, says I'm 76, and I suffer with rheumatoid arthritis. I take pain medicine each day that my doctor prescribed, but I still hurt, and some days I can barely move my fingers. Do you know of anything else that might help? Rheumatoid arthritis, I just sent this out in our newsletter recently, so if you haven't signed up for that, just go to the website. You can sign up, and we send out a couple of those a week, give you updated with great tips about your health. But talking about arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis specifically, remember, rheumatoid arthritis has a real strong autoimmune component to it, which means the body attacks itself. So it has incredible ways the body does of the immune system thinks something's wrong. For example, with the joints, so it goes in, begins attacking the joints, and can become quite challenging. So one of the keys you have to look at with rheumatoid arthritis first is the diet, because again, with autoimmune, remember it's highly genetic. So whatever the trigger was, stress, which is a big one, but a lot of the triggers can come in, hit it, and then really cause everything to kind of go haywire. So you can't really get rid of it per se. That's what the research says. Now, again, that's what the research says. I'm always a big believer that the great physician can do pretty much about anything he wants. And I've seen just absolute miracles happen. But traditional science, medicine, all that, what it typically says is that it can't be cured or gone away. But you can put a dimmer switch on it. So, for example, if the light switch is turned on, you can put a really good dimmer switch on it so that you can barely have any symptoms going on, and that's what we want to strive for. So we know that diet is a big key. So the foods that you put inside your body, they matter in a great way. Remember, with your foods every single day, focus on getting the right amounts, lean quality protein sources, chicken, fish, beef, or eggs, low glycemic carbs in the form of fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables, and then healthy fats, almonds, walnuts, cashews, avocados, and the like, because when you put the right kind of foods in like that, you're going to get the right kind of results that you're looking for. The foods are everything. It's your foundation. The other key that's really important, we know, very beneficial, there's some foods specific to arthritis that can help. Basil, parsley is really good. Sweet potatoes, red peppers are fantastic. Salmon is really good. These are all specific that can really help tone down a lot of the symptoms of arthritis. And then also, fennel is good and known to have, there's some really good research on fennel in using that. And then also, don't forget that arthritis, one of the big keys is kale and spinach. So you're in collards. So your dark greens, unbelievable. Good research behind it, the whole 9 yards. A couple of keys that can really help. Don't forget your fish oils and vitamin D. Make sure you're not deficient in either of those, because it can make a big difference in the way that you feel. All right, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Now, tummy aches are a big deal with kids, as we know, and kids kind of, can complain with that from time to time. But they might be tied to anxiety and depression. Stomach pain is a common childhood complaint. A new study is that it might place some kids at high risk for anxiety disorders or depression as adults. The researchers compared about 300 young adults aged 20 who had abdominal pain as children to 147 who did not, had one currently, by contrast. So one of the challenges that a decade later in looking in the study, the individual who had stomach pain continued to have high rates of anxiety disorders, even if they no longer had the stomach pain. This was done by study lead author Lynn Walker, who was a professor of pediatrics at Vanderbilt University. But moreover, they said about 40% of young men and women who had abdominal pain as children had depression during their lifetime. So there's a strong correlation. This was all published in the Journal of Pediatrics. To break the cycle early, parents of children who complain of stomach pain should first take their child to see a doctor see if anything's going on medically. If no significant disease is found, parents should encourage their children to continue regular activities even if they're having pain or anticipate they may have pain. When children stay home from school or other activities, they get behind in schoolwork, peer relationships, and that can increase stress, which can in turn increase their suffering. So if it spirals from there, as they discontinue activities and isolate themselves socially, they have more time to focus on the pain and worry about it, and they'll fall behind. But experts agree that parents should seek help early for kids who have recurrent stomach pain to try to reduce the risk of anxiety and depression. So parents should take an active role in their life by seeking medical attention and supportive counseling for their child. Because the reality is that kids, the brain-gut connection, a child doesn't know how to describe the difference between nausea or food poisoning type stomach pain versus, or some kind of like stomach bug versus that kind of that anxiety type stomach pain, that nervousness and anxiousness that we can feel. They just know it's stomach pain. So one key as parents, really, you have to dive in. Don't forget the mental aspect of health. I think so many times we just dismiss our kids and thinking they're not old enough to really feel and understand. Kids have the greatest intuition. They know when things are going on. And so if their little stomach starts hurting, there's nothing medically wrong, they haven't eaten anything bad, there's no car sickness, nothing like that. It's all been evaluated. Look at the home. So if there's not a good environment in the home and the kids are complaining about this, it's something to take an evaluation in as parents and make sure you're creating the right environment, loving environment, that there's no strife and yelling, that you're not putting down your child in inadvertent ways, that you're giving your child enough love and attention, that you're not pushing them to the side, and all those kind of things. I think that we're looking so much, even in the study, on the fact of what having stomach pain does as a child to what, tied to anxiety when you get an adult. But remember, our personalities are formed up to age 7. And our sexual personalities, as far as sexual orientation, like a daughter to her father and mother to her son, and those interpersonal relationships are formed all the way till age 5. So if there's any type of anxiety that's developing in the child, causing them stomach pains, it's not medically related, it could be emotional, but kids don't know how to describe their emotions. That's the challenge. So as parents, you've got to be aware enough. No, I'm going deep here. As parents, we've got to be aware enough. This is my psychology degree coming out. We've got to be aware enough to really see and have some intuition on what our kids are going through. Because it's one thing to have teenagers that you can sit down and try to talk to them. It's another thing to have like a 5-year-old that doesn't know how to describe how they feel. They just may be sad, or they may have stomach pain for whatever reason. And to break through that and create a better environment possibly for them. Coming up, more questions about your health. I see you waiting on the lines. Hang tight. We'll get right to you. Don't forget, check out the website. We've got our new lifestyle plan. It's free. Go to the website. You can fill out your information and get a customized lifestyle plan for you. And don't forget, our app is out in the App Store. Catch the radio show 24/7. Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Asa telling you to just breathe with LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio.
Welcome back to the show. Let's go to the phones and talk with June. Hi, June.
I get these periodic headaches. It's more than headache, head pressure, I would say, along with my myalgia, which they're not sure if it's fibro or polymyalgia or temporal arteritis or what. But anyway, is there anything you recommend for headaches?
It just depends. I mean, again, if it's fibromyalgia, that's a whole different animal in what we're dealing with. But headaches in general depends on where it hurts, okay? It hurts in the back of the head mostly. There's a couple of things. It could be occipital. It's in the occipital area, which there's tension in the muscles that attach to the base of the skull. And that's where a couple of key therapies really come into play. Chiropractic therapy is wonderful. Treatment is amazing. And then also massage therapy is great too to work on the areas, and acupuncture can actually be beneficial to that. So that's one area if you're talking about the base of the skull. Now, if you're going around maybe the temples of the head or the forehead, you could be talking about some different areas. Now, from a nutritional perspective, we've got to look at what could be causing that. Now, even though there could be some misalignments in the upper cervical neck, C1, C2, that area could have some dysfunction in that area, misalignments that could be corrected. But for those areas, a lot of times has to do with nutrition. And the nutrition is so key and so important for the overall scheme of things. And you have to look at that by looking at a couple of key factors. Now, number one is you want to look at ways to really support the body. And the way to do that nutritionally, you get a blood test done. You can check and see what core nutritional deficiencies you have going on. And the big key for especially kind of the wrapping around of the head, front of the head, thyroid is a big one. So you got to look at all the endocrine function, pituitary gland, which is the master gland. It controls everything. And then you got the thyroid gland, the adrenals, and the adrenal glands play a big role too. So if the body's got a lot of stress going on, very, very challenged in that area, then it could be one of those key areas could be weak, and testing could show that. And there's nutritional ways to build up each area and all that sort of thing. But you have to figure that out first. Then it could be just vascular. It could be simple constriction of the capillaries. That could be vascular issues that could be causing it. So, I mean, it's got to be evaluated first. If you've been taking medication, for example, then, again, your doctor needs to advise you on that side. But from a nutritional side, I would get maybe a nutritionist or someone to help you really come up with a game plan in how to support the body overall nutritionally. And then maybe structurally with chiropractic care, something along those lines can help. Because headaches, again, there's so many different factors. Even genetics can play a role in headaches. But I found mostly there's stress. There's even emotional components that can cause issues with headaches. You got to look at the whole picture, right? So you have to have somebody evaluate it from all the sides, and that can help tremendously. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health, you give us a call or go to the website. Now, at the website, don't forget that we've got a brand new app out, and it's really cool. You can go to the App Store, look at On Call Radio app, and you can download it. It's free. But what's great is you can ask questions on the app, and it comes right to us. And you can listen to the show all from the day before all day until we go live the next day. A really, really cool way to do that. If you have Crohn's disease or know someone that does, it's a digestive-related disorder. And we get calls and emails about this constantly. And I've seen it more and more over the last couple of years, which is quite alarming. Now, people that deal with Crohn's, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. So, for example, there's bleeding, can be ulcerations within the lining of the colon, and people are not breaking down, digesting their food very well. Really challenging. So when you look at that and you get in and you can figure out exactly what's going on, one of the big keys that you have to look at that's really concerning is what do you change? I mean, how do you do it? I mean, do you go to most people get to a level where they're taking a really strong drug called Remicade. Remicade is a pretty much standard of care medication for end result Crohn's. Very good at managing it, but you got to decide if you want to be on that long term or you're willing to make some changes within your lifestyle. Now, there's always a strong mental component that goes along with Crohn's, always. So understanding that and, kind of putting that into perspective, that, I don't know what that might be for anyone, but it could be going through a relationship issue, a divorce, loss of someone, a loved one, a family member. Maybe it's a severe job loss with, financial stress. All that they're all capable of happening. And we have to look at ways to really begin to solidify how to build the body back up. So we're going to talk about that for a minute. So here's some ways you can kind of lifestyle your way out of dealing with Crohn's. Number one, don't smoke. Study after study has shown that if you have Crohn's and you smoke, have to quit because it flares up. It's one of the top keys that flares up Crohn's. So if you smoke and you have Crohn's, you're just fueling the fire, literally, with smoking. And with drinking, same thing. the alcohol can irritate the lining of the intestinal tract, exacerbating the symptoms. If you do it extreme moderation. Regular exercise can benefit any type of Crohn's treatment. So if you're using Remicade or if you're going more of a natural route, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America has heavily endorsed exercise as a great tool at supporting the body. Now, managing your stress level is a big one. So you can practice relaxation techniques. You want to make sure you're getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. So with relaxation, you can, pray. If you do meditation, whatever, do yoga is a great, Tai Chi is a great way to do that. Whatever you're into, that's fine. Seek out support. Counseling is really good. Communicate how you feel. And, always, like I was saying here, work with a dietitian or nutritionist. That's a big one, too. And you want to limit caffeine intake. So if you're doing tea or any of those, maybe go for the decaffeinated versions because caffeine can actually irritate the lining of the intestines and can also flare things up. Coming up, we'll jump in more questions about your health. We've got our food of the hour, powerful superfood that could come in and literally transform your health. I want to talk about that. It can help with cardiovascular benefits and also with weight loss. Did you know that you can listen to the AsaRx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Open 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web, oncallradio.com. Whatever you're struggling with, know we're here to help. Here to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. It's about lifestyle. It's about choices that we make every single day to really get you to that next level with your health, to take you, to kind of thrust you into that next level so you can really begin to thrive and you don't have to be stuck where you are. That learning how to really make it, learning how to begin to refocus where you are so that you can lose the weight you need to lose, or maybe you're taking 3 or 4 medications and you don't know where to start. Helping you start that journey is also another great tool. We want to help you do that. Regardless, we want to help you go to that place where you don't have to be stuck. And, the challenge is that many people get stuck and they don't know where to turn. Well, it comes down to a lot of keys. But if it's weight loss, if it's just gaining your health, if it's kind of renewing where you are, there's a couple of keys that you want to focus on. And on this show, we want to help you do that. So number one, always, remember, I always say what you eat is king. All right, your nutrition is king. Your exercise is queen, and you put them together and you have a kingdom. And so that's true. You put those together, that's really, it comes down to the basics. We talk about that so much, and it sounds so simple. We eat less, exercise more, right? But it's eating the right kind of foods designed for your body. It's exercising in the right way, in the right amount of time. So it's not about just go do it. It's about being strategic about it so you know what's best for your body. Let's go to Tammy on the phones. Hi, Tammy.
I'm 53, relatively healthy for all means, but have recently discovered that I have an 8-centimeter uterine fibroid. Of course, been suggested to have it taken out surgically, but I really don't want to go that route. So just wanted to see what you had to say about that.
Well, here's the deal. I can tell you 2 options for sure. One is there's really good research, and I've actually seen people that have used certain natural means to reduce the fibroid tumors. Okay, so I've seen that happen. It's very rare. The majority of people have tried the natural route and went ahead and gone for the surgery. Surgery is safe, and the techniques are very, very good now. So I know it's like you don't want to do the surgery. It's kind of a hassle. But at the end of the day, it can really improve the area and the outcome. for the most part. So if that's been suggested, it's something you want to consider. Now, on the natural side, as far as lifestyle choices and all that, you got to think, okay, what caused this in the first place? Where's the imbalance in my body that caused this, so that, moving forward, you don't get another one, right? So that's the goal, is for them not to return. And a couple of tools that are very good. Obviously you want to monitor your estrogen and progesterone levels on a regular basis. I really am a big fan of getting blood work done every 6 months, just so you know where your body is, and having a good overall game plan of figuring that out. I would encourage you to get that done on a regular basis. So getting your lab work done, having it done with all the hormones, and check vitamin D levels and all the B vitamins and all the different nutrients, minerals, all that. I would have that checked out on a regular basis, because everything can affect everything in the body, and you want to get a good clear-cut picture about what really we're dealing with. And I think that's how you win and attack this thing. So that's first and foremost, okay? Now, the other piece of it that you want to look at that's really important too is when you're kind of looking at fibroids and all that, obviously I'd get multiple opinions. Most physicians or most surgeons are going to have the same opinion, but I still would at least get 2. I like 3 at the most. So that's what I would focus in on and get that checked out. Now, look at your eating habits. Make sure you got the right kind of anti-inflammatory foods coming in. That's also going to make a big difference as well. All right, hope that helps. 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. If you're into foods like I am, I really believe food can be one of our best medicines for sure. Lifestyle is our overall best medicine, but food is our best medicine in so many different ways. But I want to talk about a superfood today. It has so many health benefits to it. And we're talking about sesame seeds. So they're an excellent source of copper, very good source of manganese, which are very good for joints and ligaments, that sort of thing. But they're also a good source of calcium, magnesium, iron, phosphorus, B1, zinc, molybdenum, selenium, and fiber, which is great. I mean, both belong to a special group called lignans. They're great for cholesterol-lowering effects in humans. And, of course, vitamin E is loaded against protecting from a lot of the oxidative stress and damage. Now, they're rich in beneficial minerals, too. A lot of the sesame seeds are an excellent source of copper, which is a great source of manganese. And the copper itself provides relief for rheumatoid arthritis. And this has been known for quite some time. So if you don't ever use copper as a mineral or you haven't been checked for it, a lot of people reduce a lot of the arthritis pain by having copper. It's effective due to the trace mineral. It's important in a number of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant enzyme systems. So a lot of cross-linking going on. Just don't take a bunch of copper expectedly, because if you do, it can throw off your zinc levels. It's kind of an antagonist to zinc, and if it throws off zinc, then you're going to have some real challenges along the way. Magnesium is another one that supports vascular and respiratory health. Studies have been supported in magnesium's usefulness in preventing the airway spasm and asthma. Always can lower high blood pressure and contributing factor in heart attacks, strokes, and diabetic heart disease. It also is real big in preventing trigeminal blood vessel spasm that can trigger migraines. That's a big one. And can restore a lot of the normal sleep patterns in women. So magnesium plays a big, big role. Calcium is also in here. It's very protective against colon cancer, osteoporosis, migraines, and PMS. In recent studies, calcium has been shown to help protect colon cancer cells and a lot of cancer-causing chemicals. Can also help protect the bone loss and can occur with menopause and certain conditions like rheumatoid arthritis. Also reduces PMS symptoms. Now, it's loaded up with zinc, too. This is what's so great, kind of makes it a superfood. Remember how I talked about it's loaded with copper, so it's good for the joints. And you got to be worried about taking too much copper because what? You can throw off your zinc, but guess what? It has zinc in it as well. So this is how I love foods are just completely balanced in their approach. That gives you plenty of copper, but it gives you plenty of zinc, so you don't lose it. About 30% of hip fractures occur in men. And 1 in 8 men over age 50 will have an osteoporotic fracture. A study of 396 men ranged in age from 45 to 92 was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that a clear correlation between low dietary intake of zinc and low blood levels of the trace mineral and osteoporosis in hip and spine. But sesame seeds, phytosterols, lower cholesterol. So the phytosterols are compounds found in plants and have a chemical structure very similar to cholesterol, which is interesting because they're believed to reduce blood levels of cholesterol, enhance the immune system response, and decrease the risk of certain cancers. These phytosterols' beneficial effects are so dramatic that they've been extracted from soybean, corn, pine tree oil, and can add processed foods such as butter replacement spreads. I mean, it's incredible what they can do. All this was done in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry. But the benefits, again, any kind of nuts or seeds I think should be eaten every day, whether it's a handful of almonds, Brazil nuts, whatever. The studies are too conclusive to show what they can do for, even just getting down to belly fat. People that actually eat nuts every single day can lower their overall belly fat and their circumference, waist circumference, which is a big deal for heart disease. As long as you're getting some of these in every single day, that's what matters more than just about anything. So grab a handful of the seeds and watch your health improve in a lot of ways. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health, give us a call or go to the website. Now, if you're looking for a lifestyle provider, someone in your area that believes the same way we do, all the nutrition and lifestyle-based care that we talk about, you can find that on the information at the website. And also our team members are always standing by to help you, to kind of encourage you and equip you and help you find someone in your area. Plus, answer questions. We've got great health and lifestyle coaches available on standby that can kind of walk with you in your journey to find the tools that you need for your optimal health. So check out the website. They can help you along the way with whatever you're looking for. Now, Charleston, South Carolina, had an email come in. Susie says that I'm 32 and a stay-at-home mother of 2. Over the last few weeks, I've been getting migraines. Seems like every other day. Do you have any good advice? I do. Migraine headaches, again, a lot of different triggers. I would go to 2 spots. I would go to your primary care. If you've already done that, then I would go to chiropractic care. One of the best ways to eliminate headaches. And then thirdly, I guess 3 little spots I would go. You need to go find someone like a nutritionist that can guide you, someone that can look at nutritional deficiencies. They can monitor and see what levels in your body are high, what levels are low, and really build a good game plan and figure out, okay, this is what needs to happen here, and these levels are low, just like we're talking about copper and zinc, whatever. There can be certain values that are low in your body that could be causing these headaches to trigger. Could be structural, could be chemical, but it needs to be looked at so you can find out the overall tools of what needs to be taken care of so you can begin to thrive and not just barely make it, because they come on for some reason. Could be hormones, but at least you'll dig in and figure that out. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. Shoot me an email. Jump on social media. All that is at the website. Now, coming up, I've got some tips you don't want to miss. We're going to be talking fitness. We're going to be talking ways to lose the belly fat, drop the weight, keep it off. It's one thing to lose the weight, but are you going to keep it off? A lot of that, plus some ways naturally to combat pain when we come back.
Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Asa telling you to just breathe with LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Let's go to Tricia now. Hi, Tricia.
Calling to ask opinion on medical marijuana. My son is taking it. It's legal where he lives, and I'm not that familiar with it, and I just wanted to get advice on that.
Yeah, I really, in my opinions, are kind of neutral, because I've seen it work with quite a few people, and actually pretty miraculous. I've talked to several physician colleagues, and they've used it in clinical practice and outside of, with with certain eye conditions and even with certain immune conditions, they've seen pretty startling results, even with some digestive-related issues as well. So, again, there's enough benefit for it to be medically cleared. I mean, the reality is we look at it as a drug and people use it to get high, but then we use certain medications that have the craziest side effects, and it's almost like the side effects are worse than the drug itself. So you got to ask yourself that question, and those are able to be prescribed. It's just we look at marijuana that has been a recreational drug used for so long, it's kind of got a stigma with it. So I think that's why we all, when it's going to be used for medicinal purposes, everybody kind of, pauses and has this weird pause. And I mean, even I did at first, and being a physician, but when you really break it down, look at the physiology of it, you look at the MOA, as we call it, the mechanism of action, what it does, it's got a lot of benefits. I mean, they wouldn't approve it for nothing. And, people are getting good results from it. So I think here's my position. Okay. If you're using it, if a physician prescribes it and there's a true need for it, that's great. If they're prescribing it and the patient is really wanting it to get high and they're just looking for, the free card to get high, I've got an issue with that, and again, that's happening. It's obvious, right? I mean, that's definitely obvious. So I don't really care for it for that reason. And do I, again, that's a long conversation, but does it have benefits? Yeah, it does. The research is behind it. You can't argue with that. So do I think it's going to get abused? Yeah, but so do painkillers. And there's pain clinics all over the country. And people come up with all kinds of reasons to be on pain meds. Not everybody, by any means. And there's legitimate needs for pain medication in a lot of ways. But there's always the handful that will abuse the system. And that's what is happening within the marijuana side as well. So for what it's used for in the right means, there's good reason for it. And I've seen enough data to agree with that. But if it's, again, I don't like it because, again, there's always good with the bad. So you approve something and then you're going to have people that abuse it. So it's like that with anything. So, again, hopefully in your son's case, there's a legitimate need for it and it's truly helping him and he's under physician supervision, which is another big key as well. 888-283-7272 lines are open. Give us a call or go to the website. Fitness is a big deal, and we always look at ways to lose weight. Everybody's kind of searching the television, and they're flipping the infomercials, and there's all kinds of fitness DVDs and programs and systems to help you lose weight, feel better, and really achieve your goals. But I personally really get into and really love the whole model of naturally building your lifestyle so you can modify your body. I mean, one of the big keys that I've seen with people is it's one thing for somebody to come off their medications. It's amazing to see somebody that had high cholesterol and high blood pressure and blood sugar issues not have it anymore. I mean, drop 30 pounds, come off the medications, be living in victory, have more energy, really just get to that place where they're winning, they're thriving, and they're making it. Okay? That to me is incredible. I love it. But there's a lot of silver bullets that people think that are out there that are not. So just some basics. I'm going to tell you that there's some keys, really all natural methods to help lose the belly fat. Now, you have to eat well. Number one, I mean, eating well is king, exercise is queen, period. And that's how you build the kingdom. So your eating well always needs to be, in my opinion, I like multiple meals. I like 3 solid meals a day and a couple of snacks in between. And then I like to fast, partial fast 1 day a week. I think intermittent fasting has so many benefits to it from a physical standpoint, spiritual standpoint too, which that doesn't have to be for you. But it gives the body a break. It releases growth hormone at an alarming rate, almost 300% increase in growth hormone, restabilizes and resets all your receptors. So all the different blood sugar, insulin receptors reset. So you start handling blood sugar levels very well. It's just a great tool to use to balance out your body. And so many times we don't use it enough and we don't utilize it enough. And it's a partial fast day. So you eat dinner. It doesn't matter what time you finish eating dinner. It could be 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Then you don't eat again until the next evening dinner, whatever time you want to have it. You can break it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it is. but make sure you get that partial day fast in. I like using a little bit of protein powder, organic, with plenty of water a couple of times a day with some green drinks when you do that. And this intermittent fasting has been something that's been studied with science recently, and it is incredible what it can do for fat loss. And again, you stabilize your blood sugar levels, you get in plenty of water, unsweetened tea throughout the day, build up your antioxidants, hydrate your body, helps the body stimulate releasing toxins. Really don't exercise much that day. I mean, if you want to do some stretching or some light yoga, that's not a big deal. But don't make that one of your heavy exercise days for sure. Maybe more of an active rest day, and that can be beneficial. So again, great tools to be able to increase your fat loss, but your eating habits are key, your exercise habits 5 to 6 days a week. Unless those are in place, no matter what you do, whatever tool you use, ab roller or any of the different kind of the exercise pieces, you've got to have those keys in place. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick. Go tell someone you love some tips you learn here on the show and empower their health.
Did you know you could listen to the AsaRx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the AsaRx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.